Welcome, everybody. Just as people are arriving, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your interest in my lunch and learn today. So wherever you are in the world, welcome. I know that there are a lot of people from Australia who are interested because I used to work and live in Australia, and a few Kiwis and Americans and people in Europe, Germany, Luxembourg, and the UK as well. So I'm really excited to get such a broad audience. And I hope you really enjoy today's session on the 7 different types of leadership. And it's really interesting to find out what type of leader you are as well. So if we haven't met, my name's Alison, and I'm an executive leadership coach from Germany. So I've been living in Germany for the last 10 years, and I'm actually originally from Australia. And I spent 17 years in the finance industry. So I was working 10 years in Australia in funds management. And then I moved to Germany about 10 years ago as well, and started at the Commerzbank over here doing renewable energies. And then I joined a big investment bank from Australia. And I was working there for another couple of years, on big renewable energy projects like offshore wind parks. And I had CFO positions on various projects and board positions, managing people and teams and things like that. And that was what kind of gave me the inspiration to start my own business as well, because I knew how I was experiencing, working in a really tough kind of environment, but really kind of fun and motivating. And also talking to other emerging leaders in the market as well. I could sort of see that we had very similar struggles, very similar questions, and very similar things that we really wanted to achieve. And so I thought, wow, being a coach, I can absolutely help these people. And so I just kind of wish now that I'd had a coach when I was going through all of that, when I was experiencing that for 17 years. So I do everything for you guys. So if you have any suggestions for future lunch and learn topics, let me know and we'll see what we can do. But today's topic is the 7 different types of leadership and what type of leader are you? So it's not actually trying to put you into a basket or put anyone else into a basket. It's very much about awareness. So how do you approach life and leadership generally? And do you want to continue doing it that way? Is that working for you? Or is there actually another way that you could possibly approach your leadership and your life? And so the different levels that we're talking about today, the different types of leadership, they're actually based on what's known as the Energy Leadership Index Assessment, which is something that I do in my coaching practice. I find it fascinating, absolutely fascinating. It's really fun. It's kind of like one of these Myers-Briggs assessment programs or Enneagrams or DISC, things like that. But instead of measuring your preferences or how you were born, whether you're extrovert, introvert, whatever, it's much more about your attitude. And it measures how you're basically showing up in life and your attitude now. And so the beautiful thing about that is you can change it. With awareness, when you're aware of something, you can choose your next reaction to it. When you know that you're being really negative, or you know that you're going into a different conversation and you're just about to butt heads with someone, when you're aware of that, you can say, is this really how I want to approach this? And if not, you make a choice and you change it. And that end result will, spark a different chain reaction. And that can absolutely change your life and change your relationships. So that's what today's Lunch and Learn is about, just making you more aware of how you might be approaching your leadership roles and, the other options that you might have. So let's get stuck into it. I will pop on my screen sharing and let's have some fun. Okay, I hope you can all see that. So let's dig into the first slide. So these are the 7 different types of leadership. And if we start from the bottom, if we can look at these as kind of energy, sort of more positive energy, more negative energy, or more lethargic energy. From starting at the bottom, you've got lethargic leadership. And this is also known as laissez-faire leadership because it's kind of when people don't care anymore. They really don't care about themselves or anybody else. So this is very much sort of victim level energy. Their main thoughts are they just feel lost and stuck, and they've got a lack of choice where they are. They can't see any way out. The ideas are, I can't, I have to, and there's a lot of fear around this level as well. Now, the second level is unfortunately toxic leadership. This is much more conflict-based. And this is a lot of anger and combativeness and resistance and conflict. This might turn up in internal conflict. So you might be frustrated and bottling things up inside, or it could be externalized as well. So this could also be, lashing out at people physically or with your words. And then we have cooperative leadership. This is level 3. This is very common in leadership and in all walks of life. A lot of people sort of resonate at this level 3. So this is the rationalizing level. This is, everything's fine. You're coping. You're moving forward. You're taking responsibility, but you're tolerating things. So it's not the best, but it's not so bad. And then we have servant leadership, and this is level 4. This is sort of the heartfelt leadership that you might experience from some leaders. This is where real compassion and caring and service for others comes into play and is experienced by all around them. There's lots of forgiveness and cooperation at this level as well. Level 5 is opportunistic leadership. So opportunistic in there are just opportunities everywhere. This person doesn't see problems so much as opportunities. So there's a lot of win-win vibe around this level. And, I want to win, but I want to make sure that you win as well. They're very much solution focused, and there's a lot of confidence but calmness at this level as well. So there's a lot of really strong international leaders that tend to resonate at this level of leadership. And then we have transformational leadership at level 6. So this is very much intuitive. This is kind of the creative genius. This is more visionary. It's all about synthesis and oneness. So everybody is here for a reason. We're all meant to work together. We are one. That kind of upper level visionary leadership. There are a few people that sort of resonate at this level, but not many. It's more difficult to come by. And then we have level 7, authentic leadership. So this is absolute passion. This is absolute caring, complete non-judgment, and creation. So nobody is constantly at this level 7 of leadership. But I'll tell you later how you can kind of dip in and out of it. It's a very interesting level to study. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. So this idea, I'm going to go through each of these levels, and I'm going to do an example of a wall. So as a leader, you come up against a wall, and how you respond to this wall really matches that level of the type of leader that you are. And so you'll see the bar across the top as well. We're looking at catabolic energy on the left and anabolic energy on the right. So catabolic energy, like energy generally, we're not going super woo-woo about this. Like you've met people that they're just draining. They're difficult to be around because they're either so negative and woe is me and a rain cloud follows them around everywhere, or they're aggressive and yelly and it's like, stop it. And you've also been around people who are just inspiring. It's like, I want to be your friend. Tell me more. Everything you say, I can hang on every word. So it's that kind of energy that we're looking at here. And so in my coaching school, we called it catabolic energy. So this is sort of where the energy drags you down a little bit. And, it's kind of negative energy. It has its place, but you don't want to hang out there too long because it's difficult to get out. If the energy is kind of sapping all of the motivation and inspiration out of you, it's really difficult to move forward. So we've got catabolic energy on the left, and then on the right, we've got anabolic energy. So this is the more uplifting type of energy. People want to be around this type of energy. It's motivational, it's inspirational, it's visionary. And so at the further right we go on the scale, the further upwards we go, the more anabolic energy you have. And people with more anabolic energy, it's been proven that they're more successful, they're happier, they're more complete in their lives. Basically, their relationships are better, their job satisfaction is better, even their financial situation is often better because things are just feeling good in their life. So as we say here, the most successful leaders in the world resonate at very high levels of energy. A leader who builds an anabolic organizational culture fuels growth within that organization as well. So let's get into level 1. Remember, no judgment. Everybody kind of swings around each of these levels. So your primary level might be level 3 or level 5 or whatever it might be, but you're not always there. You'll swing into level 1 occasionally, and particularly if you're under stress, you might swing into level 1 and or level 2 quite heavily. So it's quite a wave. But as I said before, when we have awareness of how we're feeling and how we're responding to things, we can say, oh God, I'm so level 1 at the moment. I don't want to be here. How can I lift myself upwards? So level 1 is definitely the victim. The main thought about this one is that I'm powerless against any problem that comes up. You see the wall and crestfallen, you stare at it and wonder why these kinds of walls always seem to block you in life. You give up and hope that someday something will happen and the wall will go away. Or maybe you wait until someone else figures out what to do. Or maybe you turn around and go the way you came and forget the whole thing. It's very defeatist. It's very low energy generally. And unfortunately, you do see a lot of leaders in organizations who kind of resonate at this level. So in leaders, they really work in crisis mode if they're at level 1. They're always dealing with problems because this is what draws their attention. You know, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And that is very true for negativity and issues. They won't see opportunities, they'll just see more and more problems. Their passion or commitment to the company is almost at zero. It's hard to strategize for them when they're just fighting fires the whole time. There's no opportunity to take a step back because you're constantly putting out fires all the time. That's a really difficult way to operate. I know when life gets busy, we can often do that, but being aware of it and trying to pull yourself out of that is the best way forward. Their ability to inspire and motivate others is almost non-existent because they can't do it themselves either. It's really tough. And they blame themselves for the negative things and they focus on the past and they beat themselves up over their setbacks as well. I see we've got someone in the chat. Oh, here we go. Can an introvert have a high anabolic level and what could that look like? Absolutely. That's an interesting question, Sophia. Yeah, so it's very much about attitude. So you don't have to be chatty or showy to be highly anabolic. It's about how you approach things in life. So it's about how you approach problems or challenges or interesting things that, you know, come up. And you could say, no matter if you're introverted or extroverted, you could say, look, okay, this is an issue. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to bottle it up inside. I'm going to take action. And, you know, that is much more anabolic than sort of staying at level 1 and ignoring difficulties. And so it doesn't actually matter if you're extroverted or introverted. The way your brain works, it's much more about that than how you specifically express it in the moment. So that's a cool question. Thanks. All right, so let's get into level 2, the fighter. So this person will kind of win at any cost. And I've actually worked with somebody like this. I've worked with 2 people like this, and it was very difficult. So in this kind of level, they drop their shoulders and run at the wall at full speed. And they're just fueled by anger. And you bust through the wall. Yes, you've got success. But the flying pieces may hurt others and likely yourself along the way. Or perhaps the wall fails to fall and you continue running into it feeling angry and frustrated. So, you know, this one, it does give you some energy. So you will take action at this level because you're feeling anger or frustration. So it is catabolic, but it's slightly more anabolic than level 1 because you do take a bit more action. But, you know, staying at this level or working with people at this level for a long period of time is really exhausting for everybody around them. And that it can really create a toxic environment. So in leaders, this shows up in antiquated authoritarians with a superiority complex. And also, sometimes they believe they can do anything better than any other employees. And this can lead to micromanagement and judgment. And I have definitely worked with somebody like this. And, you know, the micromanagement and judgment that came from that, the toxicity trickled its way down to everybody within the team. And the team was 70 people, and everybody was feeling it. And it was a really difficult place to work in the end. They don't give credit where it's due. They own the employees and their accomplishments. They don't listen to others. They're set in their own ways, and they assume the other person is wrong, and they'll argue any point. So it's difficult to work with people like this, but there are also some organizations who are kind of like this as well. So they might just be completely focused on profits and not actually focused on, you know, their employees or their customers or their clients. They just want their profits, and they'll get those at any cost. It's very much an I win. I don't care what happens to you guys, but you know, as long as I win, I'm happy. And so this is a funny level for, you know, some people. They do experience a lot of level 2, but you know, they don't go raging around the office when something bad happens. A lot of level 2 people actually bottle it up inside, and they feel frustrated, and they just kind of get irritated and irked, but they can't express it. And you know, that's when it can become toxic just for a person internally, if they can't process why they're feeling this way and how they're feeling this way and how to move themselves out of this level 2. So this is it's a very interesting level, and it can be very difficult for some people to remove themselves from, because you kind of get bogged down into your own feelings at this level, but it's not helpful in the long term. At level 3, we have the rationalizer. And this is the type of person or leader that says, I'll give it a go, fingers crossed. So they have some more energy. They're a little bit more anabolic than the lower levels. Everything's still not perfect, but it's more of a silver lining. So yes, there's a problem, but okay, let's do something about it. And so they do take action at this level. So a lot of people are at this level of energy in organizations, and a lot of companies are at this level as well. So most people, you know, sometimes they have good days, sometimes they have bad days, but a lot of people kind of fluctuate around about the level 3 just to kind of get stuff done at work. You know, I'm sure everybody can relate to that. So at level 3, you forgive the inconsiderate builder who put a large wall on a clearly marked path, and then you start hatching a response plan. You consider going up, around, or even under the wall, and you know, you think you're going to overcome this obstacle. And if others follow you, that's great. And if not, oh well. You know, this is like, I win, and if others win as well, cool, excellent. So it's a bit more positive. And so in leaders, this looks like, you know, that they're more solutions focused than problems focused. So they do want to get an answer. They do want to move forward. They're more adept at managing their emotions and those of other people around them. And if a problem arises, they resolve it confidently and tactfully, responding with logic rather than emotion. So they're not big on emotional intelligence, but they can express themselves with a little bit more tact and a little bit more self-awareness than perhaps someone at level 1 or level 2. Now, level 4 is the caregiver. So I'll help you overcome the problem. They're very much focused on other people rather than themselves. If they win as well, that's brilliant. But really, they're here to serve other people, and that's their focus. A lot of mothers fall into this category. So they're very giving people, and they want the best for their family. They put their relationship and their family first. And if they don't have really good boundaries set, this can make them feel burnt out or unappreciated, and that might take them back down to level 1, even though their natural preference is at level 4. Sort of crossing any sort of boundaries will push them back down into level 1, feeling unappreciated and why do I bother? And you know, that kind of more negative reaction. So a lot of females can fall into kind of this fluctuating category. So it's something to be very much aware of and careful with. So at this level, you reach the wall and notice others that encounter the same obstacle. You offer boosts and help others climb up and over the wall. You're not necessarily making your way to your goal at the moment, but you're helping others go to get there and where they want to go. You see others progress towards their goals, which clarifies or shifts your goal to being a person of service. So in leaders, you see this when they have deep connection with their employees and they really care. They have a genuine trust and caring for the people in their organization. They do have logical analysis, which is more a level 3 trait, but they add emotional intelligence onto that as well. So they can develop real connections with people around them and a real understanding and communication. And they actually do care about how their decisions affect the employees, their clients, and the business as well. So they're much more focused on everybody externally than themselves. And so people like this, generally employees, they do like to have a purpose. So they want to work more towards a purpose. It's not just about the money for them. They want to see what kind of impact they're having on the world. And a lot of, NGOs are like this. So in a company context, an NGO would be a level 4 type of company, very much focused on other people rather than their profits. Now, level 5 is the opportunist. Let's overcome this together. This is the win-win level. And like I said before, this is a lot of the time where leaders really reside. They're inspiring, they want to overcome problems. They see problems as opportunities, and their vision and strategic vision, it's quite motivating and inspirational for other people as well. So a lot of great leaders are at this level. At level 5, you leverage the resources and inspire the people around you to get yourself and everyone else past the wall. You see the opportunity to work as a team, to build a ladder out of nearby wood, construct a tunnel underneath, or build a door so that others can pass through more easily in the future. So it's very solutions oriented, working together. How can we both win in this? It's like we both win or we don't bother. In leaders, they are powerful, inspiring, and skilled at capitalizing on opportunities, especially partnerships and alliances. So really partnering properly with other people to have a win-win. They command greatness from others and also receive it as well, seeing employees as gifted and full of potential. The judgment is coming down at this level, most definitely. They expect positive attitudes, autonomy, as well as teamwork and high performance from other people. And they communicate exactly what their expectations and needs are, and employees are motivated to greatness. And I actually worked at a company that sort of resonated at this level 5 energy, and it was really empowering. I hadn't done that before. It took me years to find a company like this. I didn't know they existed, but that showed me that anything is possible with the right people and the right support. Absolutely anything is possible, and you can have amazing conversations when everybody in the room just wants to find a fantastic solution to a really interesting problem. There's no judging of other people because it's all new solutions, all new ideas. And that was really empowering. And that's actually what made me want to start my own business, working in a company like that, because they were so supportive. So it's really fun. Level 5 companies, really fun. Level 6 is the visionary. And this is, the problem gives a new perspective on things. It's not just a new opportunity, it's a completely new perspective for something completely fresh. So you find a great purpose for the wall. Instead of it being an obstacle, perhaps it becomes a canvas for artwork, or you continue building upon the wall to construct a new settlement with a community of like-minded travelers. So these are really the visionary people. They're kind of on another level. Very few people really resonate at this level all of the time, but it's almost like if you work in a big organization, and there's always whispers of so-and-so from head office coming to visit next week. And everyone's like hushed whispers of awe. It's that kind of person, that kind of leader that, you want to meet them. You want to talk to them. You want to get to know them because, you feel as though they're doing such an inclusive job in running the company that it's kind of inspiring to meet them. So that's how you could think of a level 6 leader. So they're highly active in the organization, but they actually lead more by presence than physical actions themselves. So they're more role models. They are wise, kind, fair, powerful, yet humble. They have a keen sense of intuition to make decisions and to generate ideas as well. And they take on ideas and critique without ego. They see all staff as equal and gifted in their own ways. So they don't see hierarchy in their eyes. They employ people, at the lowest position up to managing director or whatever that might be in between, and say, you are doing the best that you can. You're contributing to this. I value you. And that gives people real motivation and real inspiration as well. And level 7 is the creator. There is no problem. There is no wall. It's amazing. The wall is just an illusion. So you are energy, just like the wall. And from this powerful place, you consciously choose the response that you desire from all the other levels. So I have to say, not many people are at this level all the time. Maybe the Dalai Lama or something like that. But we can all switch in and out of this level. So this is where it's really about unconditional love, pure genius, pure intuition. So the feeling that you get if you walk along a riverbank on a sunny day and there's no judgment, there's no negativity, your heart just blossoms because it's lovely. It might last 10 seconds, but you feel it. Or if you look at your kids when they're sleeping, or I know for me, when I pat my cat, I just have this explosion of love, my poor cat. But it's just this unconditional love that you feel. Or you might get snaps of intuition as well. And, trying to work out how these come, when these come, and tap into them as much as possible. And then you can sort of reach level 7 a little bit more often. And then that will help you pull up all the different levels all at once as well. It's a really interesting level. It's a little bit woo-woo, but once you think about it, it does. It's where you experience pure happiness. And who doesn't want more of that, eh? So the question is really for you, who do you wish to become? What type of a leader or what type of a person are you now? And who do you actually want to become in the future? So as I said before, awareness leads to choice, leads to change. So today, a very simple thing, I know we raced through this because I wanted to share as much as possible with you in half an hour, but, maybe it set a few ideas flowing within you, sort of saying, oh God, I do often show up in level 3. I get stuff done, but I'm not particularly inspirational or motivational. Gee, that level 5 sounded interesting. I want some more of that. So, is there one thing that you can think differently today to bring you up a notch to where you want to be? Is there one thing that you can do today to bring you up another notch in these levels? Or is there another thing that you can say today to bring you up a notch? If someone in your team is struggling with something and they got it wrong again, instead of thinking, oh my God, he's done it again. I told him this last week. Why can't he get it right? Which is very level 2, frustration, anger, whether you keep it inside or express it. Instead of thinking of that, say, all right, instead of blowing up at him, maybe I could approach it in a more level 4 way. So how can I help him understand this? He's obviously struggling. What can I do to help him? What does he need so that he can actually understand this? Because then, we're all winning. In the end, that brings up his confidence, that brings up your relationship together, and it helps him do correct work as well. So it's definitely a win-win in all situations there. So that's an interesting example that you could try. So if you're interested in this, reach out to me. Don't be shy. I've got my contact details here. There's my email and there's my website there as well. And this QR code on the left with a little dinosaur, that will take you to the Energy Leadership Index assessment on my website. So you'll find lots more information there on what it all is, what it looks like, and how you can take that with me as well. So if you're curious, just reach out and let me know what you think of today's presentation as well. I'm very curious, or write it in the chat as well. Let's see each other again next Lunch and Learn. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you next time. Oh, Tasneem says, such great insights. Thank you, Tasneem. Lovely that you're here. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.